top of the morning to you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And as if you haven't figured that out from my other videos on this channel, St. Patrick's Day is kind of my favorite holiday. It's a good excuse to hoist a few of these and say happy springtime, happy leprechaun magic, may you find your pot of gold. And I get to wear a stupid ass green suit like this. And of course on St. Patrick's Day we gotta talk about leprechauns, right? So here we go. Here's a leprechaun movie that I've never seen before. This is Leprechaun 3. Cheers. So far on my channel, I've done a review of Leprechaun 2, of Leprechaun in the Hood, and my favorite one, Leprechaun 4, in Space, and now Leprechaun 3. Leprechaun in Vegas. Hey! Of course, your Leprechaun is played by Warwick Davis again, reprising his role this time for the third time, and he would go on to do it 4 more times after this. So this Leprechaun ends up in Vegas. He is, at this point, he's a statue, and he's got a magic amulet around his neck that keeps him in his frozen suspended animation or whatever. It's like poisonous to the leprechaun. Now this really, what appears to be really down on his luck kind of guy, goes into a pawn shop and he brings the leprechaun statue on. He's missing a leg, he's missing a hand, he's missing an eye, and his name is Lucky. Anyway, I guess he had possession of the leprechaun and he got some wishes out of the leprechaun's gold and all that stuff. They'll go into all the lore here. Basically drops off the statue at the pawn shop, and the guy, doesn't really want the statue. He just wants that medallion because he thinks that might be worth something. So he buys a leprechaun statue and he removes the amulet, and the leprechaun comes to life. The leprechaun goes after him, wants to kill him, but he uses the amulet to keep the leprechaun at bay, and manages to get a hold of one single piece of the leprechaun's gold. He has like a CD-ROM that he puts in his computer and tells him all about leprechauns and all these legends and all these things that all, of course, come true later in the movie about leprechauns. Yeah, so Leprechaun basically eventually ends up killing the guy in order to get his piece of gold back. But he does not get that piece of gold back. Also, very early in the movie, we meet our main protagonist on his way to LA to go to college, and he stops in Vegas, and he's just this naive, completely innocent, just starry-eyed dreamer of a kid. Ends up in Las Vegas, and he meets I guess a hitchhiker or a girl whose car breaks down. She is actually a magician's assistant in a Vegas show, so he helps her out, helps her get to her work on time. And she lets him into the casino where the show is going on. She sneaks him in, gets him in, and he manages to gamble all of his money away, and his luck is just completely ruined. So what he has to do is he has to go sell off like a family heirloom or something like that. So he goes across the street to the pawn shop, and that's where the leprechaun is. The leprechaun has just killed the shop owner and retreated into the back room, and meanwhile the piece of gold that the shop owner had now falls into the hands of our protagonist. And he doesn't know this, but of course we as the audience know this because of the CD-ROM, which is still playing in the background, is telling us that if you have a single piece of Leprechaun's gold, you can get whatever you wish for. And he says, man, I wish I was back at the casino on a winning streak. And then blink, just like that, his wish comes true, and he's back across the street in the casino, and he's winning. And he's winning like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he's doing really, really well, and the casino owners are getting concerned. They're like, what the hell, we're losing all our money to this guy. Basically, through this whole adventure, we're meeting like all these side characters, like the casino owner, the magician. We also get like the one table dealer lady who used to be a showgirl, I guess, or something, but now she's just dealing in blackjack at the casino. She feels she's up past her prime and all that. Then we get a couple of like mafia guys that come in and they're shaking down the casino to get their cut. There's one guy that's like just really stupid, like big enforcer guy. The other guy's just a big phony. Everybody in this movie is an idiot. Now, this one piece of leprechaun gold changes hands like several times in this movie, and we get several different characters get their wish, their ultimate wish. Like the casino owner wishes that he could get with the magician's assistant girl, and then that goes south and the leprechaun kills him. The table dealer lady wants to be young and beautiful again, and she gets her wish, but then the leprechaun decides to give her a little bit more than she wished for, and he gives her like giant lips and a giant butt and giant boobs, and then she explodes. That's a fun scene. Yeah, there's leprechaun violence like all over the place here. It's mostly the leprechaun just like stabbing people or biting them, or I guess hitting them with his shillelagh or whatever. There is some inventive kills, like the casino owner guy. The leprechaun comes out of the TV, and he's like the TV preacher or something like that. And for some reason, the guy starts having sex with a robot, and the robot explodes and electrocutes him, and then the leprechaun stabs him or something. It's like, so what did you go through all this crap for? I mean, it's really dumb. It's not as elaborately dumb as Leprechaun 4 in space, but it's pretty dumb. Our main protagonist gets bit by the leprechaun, and he gets infected with the leprechaun's blood, and he starts turning into a leprechaun. I think that's explained on that CD-ROM there somewhere as well. And the performance by this guy as the pseudo-leprechaun is pretty fucking ridiculous, if you ask me. The guy's Irish accent, I guess, is pretty okay. Sounds funny, stereotypical Irish sounding guy, but it's so irritating. And the guy's makeup, like when he starts to gets like really thick mutton chops, like sideburns, and gets weird eyes and teeth, and this makeup that they give him to make him look like a leprechaun is just fucking horrible. I mean, the leprechaun himself looks pretty good, like he always does. Well, I guess not good, but got the long hair, the little hat, the little green suit, and with buckles on his shoes. And he speaks in rhymes and everything, and it's pretty much like he was in Leprechaun 2. I'd have to say I kind of prefer Leprechaun 2. That one, I think, was a little, well, maybe not more authentic, but it gave us a little bit more Leprechaun lore without explaining it to us and obviously making up the rules as they go along, like they did in this movie. I mean, then you get to Leprechaun in space, and they just throw all that shit out the window, and this one, yeah, it's kind of neat. It's, you get to see a lot of, like, I guess, bad people get punished for their actions. Because it's Las Vegas, everybody's a dirtbag. Every single character in this movie is a dirtbag, except for our male and female leads. I liked Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun, as I always do. Plays it on a little thick here, but you don't expect anything less, right? Kind of maybe, though, my least favorite of the Leprechaun movies that I've seen. I mean, Leprechaun in the Hood had that whole, the Hood thing going on. It had Ice-T, smoking weed with a leprechaun. Like, how awesome is that? Leprechaun in space, forget about it, that's the best one. There's some funny gags in here, like, the girl with the exploding boobs or whatever, and the magician getting sawn in half and all that, and the guy having sex with the robot. Yeah, so that, I guess, was memorable. It was one of those, it was bordering on being so bad that it's funny, but I guess it wasn't really that bad, and it wasn't really that funny. I think overall I'm going to have to give Leprechaun 3 a C+. Sorry, Leprechaun. I mean, it was amusing, but not that amusing. Leprechaun in Space, I lost my shit watching that movie. This one was kind of like, meh. Standard C+ reaction, right? I mean, I don't regret watching it. It was okay. It's a C+. So until the next video, and until next St. Patrick's Day, top of the morning to you. And have a good one, everybody.